What's going on, guys? Billy here from Storm Trades. Just another trade recap, this time on NQ. I'm just going to bring you through my simple process, how I establish daily bias, how I read the high time frame hourly market structure, looking for a particular narrative, uh, and how I'm finding my invalidations for the trade ideas, and ultimately my trade executions that I took Tuesday, April 29th during the AM session. Here we are on the daily chart. I'm looking for obvious swing points, obvious internal liquidity. Right off the bat, I see that we have most recently swept this swing high here. So I'm just going to mark that out. Okay. And we actually have a small daily fair value gap right here. Right. So price goes from internal to external and then back from external back to internal. So that's it. I have a bearish bias on the daily going into into my session. Does that mean I'm only going to trade bullish setups? No. I rely way more on the hourly um, market structure narrative than I will the daily. The daily, I just want to get a quick look. Let's see what price should do or what can it do. Um, taking a look at this on the daily, the way I read it, of course, you could read the daily bias a million different ways. We're above a swing high. We've got an internal liquidity below. I'm bearish on a daily. However, my analysis is really going to be on the hourly, right? So let's go down to the hourly. And let's clean this up a little bit. And let's move forward to the next morning. It's 5 a.m., 6, 7. All right. And 8. 8 o'clock is when I start looking at the hourly and trying to see what story is being told. Okay. Now, right off the bat, what I see here is price seems to be going, there's higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, there's a lower low, higher high again. So we are in a bullish uptrend here. And I've noticed a change in the state of delivery right here on the hourly. And I'm also looking for internal range liquidity to trade into. Here's a unmitigated hourly fair value gap right here. And we have some relatively equal highs above. Okay. And you can see here, this is some low resistance liquidity. All right. Now, what I'm marking up in my charts in the Discord on my personal page at Unicorn University is I'm effectively saying, what's my game plan? My game plan would be I'd like to see price move down here, manipulate down into this unmitigated hourly fair value gap, displace higher, ultimately seeking the relatively equal highs above. Okay, that's my game plan. All right, so I'll move down to the execution time frame, clean this up a little bit. I've got my draw on liquidity. I like relatively equal highs. We've got this failed swing, which effectively turns into a low resistance liquidity right here. This is my higher time frame change in the state of delivery that we're still playing with. and the hourly fair value gap that I would like to see us trade down into, like this. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And as I set up my trading day, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, if that doesn't work, if we come down here and we close below the hourly fair value gap strong in a strong way, I've now invalidated this idea. So that's how I gather my invalidation. Prior to going down into my execution time frame, I will establish an invalidation for the idea that I have. Now, I'd like to see us come all the way down here, enter into this, and then deliver out of it. Okay. If we close below it, this idea is invalidated. However, I like to draw on liquidity higher, and let's see what happens. All right, so it's just about 9 o'clock, and boom. 9 o'clock, we are getting a strong move down into the hourly fair value gap, and now I'm just watching and waiting. Let's run the price here. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm going to be looking for, this is the series of down close candles that took that liquidity. My execution change in the state of delivery would be up here. Okay, a close above that. And this would also be a breaker here. Okay, so I can mark that out. And I want to see this right here. That's what I'm looking for. And as soon as we get a close over this, this is not just a breaker now. This is actually a unicorn, because we have this unmitigated fair value gap down here that we would expect to act as a propulsion block and not get traded back into. Okay. So as soon as we get a close above this change in the state of delivery order block and above the unicorn, I took an entry right here. Now, normally I would try and get a 2-hour trade. However, if I have an obvious Asia high and London high here, I was just constantly all day long just looking to see if those levels would get drawn to. So my take profit was ultimately right there at the relatively equal highs, and my stop was right here at the low of the breaker. It was really just about a 1-to-1 trade, but that's fine. You got to give what the market provides you. And we will play this out here. And ultimately, we had a little drawdown, and boom. That was the trade it took today. It doesn't have to be more complicated than this. You can trade in the opposite direction of your daily bias as long as you are 100% sure of your game plan on your narrative time frame, which for me, the vast majority of my analysis is done on the hourly. I need a POI to get traded into in order to start hunting. And once I start hunting, I'm looking for changes in the state of delivery, breakers, and seeking draws on liquidity that makes sense. All right, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed.